Hello, my name is Thomas Matlock, and today I would like to talk about my Rails, React, and Redux portfolio project. For this, I would like to start off with my schema and talk about a little bit what I've got going on here. Now, I have not currently set up users yet. That's still a work in progress. In fact, a lot of this application is a work in progress, but currently I have completed the meetings portion of this. So this is an application that connects pretty much coaches with students in order to teach them how to perhaps play a game or just something that they are interested in. This is meant to bring them together in a more easy way where they can vote on things and connect with pretty much anyone. So anyone can be a coach and really anyone can be a student. I thought that was an interesting way of going about this. So I've got a schema here with meetings. You can set time, duration, price, and this is pretty much for any coach or student to use. Now, the next part, I've got resources meetings, which will give me all of my routes. I'm using React Router to bring everything in and connect everything inside of the navigation bar here, which I will show. So this is the actual application here. As you can see, when we click across, we have all of our URLs being changed here. We also have a little button here which can also take us to what we need. Now, it's not very pretty. There's still a lot of styling that needs to be added, but the point of this presentation is to show that there is a full stack application behind this and it is working. So I have a Rails backend which is providing me with the data. It's selecting from meetings, which is coming from our controller here, and it's being passed into a serializer, which is going to return all of that data, which the React application can then grab. So from there, I am using Redux as state management. And so what I've done for that is, I've set up this function here called getMeets. This is dispatching our action to fetch all of the JSON data about the meetings that there is. And if there is an error, we'll console log that error, and we're going to be pretty much using map state to props to grab all of this data from our store and display it to the front end. So let me kind of go through that a little bit. I have component did mount in my top level file here, which is app.js, which is being passed into, well, I've got my store set up. Let me grab that real fast. I've got my store, which is using Thunk as the middleware, and I have Redux dev tools set up here, which I'll show in a minute. And to continue along, in order to grab that data and display that data, I had to set up a meeting card. And this meeting card is simply a component which is being passed into another component which is using this to display the ID, name, price, and time. I believe price I currently am not displaying, but again, this is still a work in progress. I'm just trying to show off the full stack application here. Now, next, I would like to talk about really my containers. I have a presentational component, which would be my meeting card, and I also have my container, which is going to pretty much map everything that we get from the meeting card to the page. As you can see, I'm using map state to props to grab the state of the meeting and display it to the page. I'm doing this through connect, which is going to connect our store and grab all that data and display it to the page. Now, as you can see, it is currently being displayed here. We are fetching it from the store, and it is being displayed. And in short, that is the application. Now, I could probably go a little bit deeper into perhaps what's going on with the store, but just to keep it short, one more thing before I do end this little 2-minute video here is I would just like to show what kind of is going on. Now, the reason I chose to put getMeets inside of the app component, whereas before, now this posed a challenge to me. That's one thing I would like to talk about, is just the challenge I had. I believe, if I remember, I had it in my container component. So yes, I had component did mount just about inside of here. Now, that every time the page was loading was really hitting the performance of this web page. So every time I did something new, I would get new meetings, and it would show that. I would get a whole nother get meets. So you'd have a list of get meets. Very inefficient. So what I did is I moved it to the top level component so that way once you get the meetings, you get the meetings and it is in the application. So unless you were to completely leave the page and come back, it is going to stay there. The state is not going to change unless you create a new meeting and then add it there. In that case, it will fetch the new meetings. And that was a challenge for me. It took me a little bit to figure that out, but got that figured out. And that is pretty much it for the application. One more thing I would like to talk about actually is just I want to show real fast a little bit more about. Okay, I did talk about this. Sorry. Yeah, so we're using getmeets, which is going to be our constant, and it's gonna be passed in as our action here. So that's what will be dispatched, and that wraps up the application. And here's what I was looking for: my reducer. So my reducer, which is actually what's going to be changing the state. As you can see, we're passing in get meets here, and we're going to return the payload. And in short, that is the application. Thank you for watching.